Oh, man, I hate Mondays.
Nah, man, it's Tuesday.
Wait. What day is it?
You know what day it is. Tuesday. Brewsday Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah. Grab a cold one. It's Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar and Six Pack Store. Here is Huck and Big Nate.
All right now.
Welcome into another edition of Brewsday Tuesday. And you know what? So if you're watching the video, you may have seen a surprise on my face. Genuine surprise because
It's April Fool's Day Eve or something like that. Maybe Eve. In any case, so this year the joke's on me. I brought all sour beers. Ha ha ha.
well, hey, I'm winning. we'll call it, you know what, for me, we'll call this Beerster.
Beerster.
Kind of like Easter.
No, that's next week. This is April Fool's Day.
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, April Fool's Day.
My calendar is
It's coming up.
all wonky. But
yeah, so I was sitting there trying to think, what could I do for April Fool's Day? And we've done a lot of things like no alcohol beer and, bad beer and just different. Oh, yeah, Pabst Blue Ribbon and stuff like that. Not, just really bad beer, Miller, High Life, whatever.
that's the champagne of beers.
I know that. But then I said, I know, this year the joke's on me. We'll get beers I hate. There you go.
You know what? I'm all aboard. Hell, April Fool's Day could be every day.
So I have the Ballad Brewery, which I did not knowing sours. I have no idea where it's from. Where is it from? Let's see. Danville, Virginia.
Ooh.
And they ain't got a lot there. So I have been to Ballad Brewing. It's down by the railroad tracks in the industrial section. It's a very nice brewery. Pretty big, as I recall. I did not have this beer. A German-style sour ale brewed with toasted coriander and Himalayan pink salt, and then fermented with pink guava for a crisp tropical tartness.
What's it called again?
It's called, I didn't say, Guava Ghost.
Okay, I was going to say.
Guava Ghost.
So the distinction, and this is literally the only thing I know factually about beer. A lot of it's just me making it up as I go. In case you didn't know, I'm a big fan of BS. And the distinction between a sour and a goza is salt.
Yes.
That's literally the only beer
That's
fact
really,
I have in my repertoire,
that's the difference. Yes. And this has pink Himalayan, it's easy for me to say, Himalayan salt.
Which means it tastes just like table salt, but they mark it up by about $12 because
it's good. Pink. It's good, and then you feel like, you're one with the mountain people. I mean, my pink, somewhere in my history is Albania and Greece, the foothills of the big old mountains over there.
That actually tracks with
and so I have a large chest, so I get lots of air, and I'm a mountain man, mountain man. I look like I got the
dark
beard.
Coloration in your beard.
And,
that
even at my age
tracks with everything I know about you. I've got the new Belgium Dominga Mimosa Sour, and like Huck said, joke's on him, not me.
Well, I saw that, and I was like, we were talking about mimosas the other day, and I think whether or not you should add vodka or not. And I'm like, what? If you can add vodka to mimosa, I don't think that's a problem.
If the opportunity presents itself, it's got like no flavor.
Right. All you're doing is, probably a little less sugar. That helps your diabetes if you're that way, and, won't get you too much energy like a 2-year-old.
And you get your daily serving of wheat.
So anyway, and New Belgium is, go-to. They recently sold out, but they sold out to like an investment company. They didn't really sell out like to anyone bad. I'm not that anyone's bad, but some people are bad, and they didn't sell out to them.
I just learned something new about New Belgium.
What?
Apparently, since the last time I had a New Belgium beer, they opened a location in Asheville, North Carolina.
Well, yeah, then you haven't had a beer in like 3 years, because I
haven't had a New Belgium.
Okay, in like 3 or 4 years.
That was.
I've never been there. Not Asheville. I've been there a lot. But every time I end up in Asheville, I'm usually coming back or going to somewhere. And it's always like a Monday. And guess when they're not open? Monday. Same thing with the one in Colorado. They're not, it's Sunday or Monday. They're not open. And that's the day I always try to go. I've been to the one in Colorado and actually got into the compound. And I had an ex-employee, and we actually got to the door, but the security guard wasn't having any of that. He's like, you got now. No. What's that one that's closed? The bear. National
Wally World.
Yeah, Wally World is
World.
closed. So we weren't
Wow.
allowed. But there's like 6 other breweries right around New Belgium.
Cut to later, Huck's going to the sporting goods store and getting a BB gun, and they're having those beers, damn it.
Oh, there you go. Go through the window. That's like no. I'm non-violent unless I have to be violent.
I'm pretty non-violent, but I can see in the context of that movie
Yes.
where Clark is just having that meltdown.
Yeah, well, see, Clark went a little far. But I get it. But yeah, he's a little high strung anyway.
Oh,
He could use a
extremely.
beer.
There's a moment in Christmas Vacation where his wife's talking to him about how he makes a big deal out of everything, and one of the things was a funeral.
Yeah.
Like, how are you just overdoing a funeral? Seems pretty obvious. You go see the body. There's someone like doing a prayer or something, and then you put it in the ground, or the mausoleum, or the crematorium. So I want to see that movie, National Lampoon's Funeral.
How about the guys that put it on the John boat, put a bunch of wood around it, do a bunch of gasoline, like 2 gallons of gasoline into the boat, and then they pushed the boat out and they launched flaming arrows into it. This is a true story. And apparently when one of the arrows actually hit the boat, the gasoline being highly dissolved by then exploded.
Just vapor at that
And
point, yeah.
body parts rained down for a mile around. They were charged with criminal mischief and desecration. But some ladies, like, they were interviewing a lady, and she's like, just this arm came flying down to my dock out of nowhere.
I bet the fines for that were still lower than an actual funeral.
Right, probably like half price.
Like, you know what? I'll take it.
And
it's
they got
on my
internet
record.
fame.
Yeah, I mean, I did not hear about that, but
anyway, yeah. So I want a Viking funeral.
You gotta,
but don't use gasoline. Kerosene burns slower.
It's not as combustible.
No, really, I don't care. I'm not going to be there.
I'm not going to be there. Yeah, put me in a bourbon barrel and just throw it into the lake.
Lake Erie.
Any lake.
Well, that one goes down to Niagara Falls. You're going to be in a barrel anyway.
Yeah, hell of a ride. I'm already dead.
Yes.
Nothing bad can happen to me at that point. Like, the worst thing that could possibly happen has already happened.
Well, you don't know that.
I know, like, you can't throw me into the Dead Sea or like Salt Lake because
you float. I actually went to the Salt Lake, and Liz wouldn't go down there. I can't remember why. It was really, really hot. But I didn't have my bathing suit, but I put on everybody. I mean, there was only like 10 people around the whole lake, so I just stripped off my pants and went running in there in my underwear. And it is true, you float really high. It's also true there's all these bugs. I mean, millions and millions of these little flies, and they're disgusting.
They live in a salty environment.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sure to evolve to do that,
so
you've got to
weird.
be gnarly.
But there's all these people, everybody's out there, and the first thing they do is run in there and float. Then you have to go to the bathhouse and get rinsed off all the salt.
So I've actually got a story involving salt. So
all right.
We've got an above ground pool. We always have. But one year I decided I was going to put a salt filter on there. And my bright idea was, you know what? I want to float to the top. I want to float like I'm in the Dead Sea or Salt Lake. It takes a lot of salt. And I burned through my budget, didn't even accomplish close to what I was going for. So
I worked for a hotel chain, and they had those salt ionizer. It's like an electrode in it, and you run the salt by it, it turns it to chlorine. So and it basically saves money, Nate. So you shouldn't have tried to Salt Lake City it. I'm just gonna call it that. If you ever flown into Salt Lake City,
I can tell you the water was cloudy, but it was pristine. There wasn't algae growth because
I would say not.
There was so much salt in there, nothing could live.
Every time you cook a steak, you just go dip it in the pool.
Just throw it in, call it a day.
It's salted. So if you ever fly into Salt Lake City, they have these huge salt flats, and they're pink, and it's really pretty. So I'm just gonna add that.
I'm gonna have to travel more. So I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Do you still feel like the joke's on you?
No, this is actually very good. I'm gonna have to say. Now these are handpicked by one of my beer valets. I have a couple of beer valets. I can't say exactly who and where, but I sometimes for a show I'll just go find my beer valets and I'll say they're very knowledgeable about beer. And they have a lot of selection. And so we will get beer and it'll be good.
I can tell you, we've had a couple of these where your beer valets have done the work.
Yeah, I know. I'm headed
so
out.
far, I've not been disappointed.
I'm I'm heading out to the beach, and I'm gonna get some beer on that trip.
So now you're sitting beachside. What are you drinking? Like in an ideal world, what's your go-to? You know, you're sitting out in the hot sun, the waves are crashing.
Well, it's gonna be cold. It's
Well, yeah,
April.
it's got to be cold.
But I'm gonna probably be drinking some seltzers during the day, and then probably move in the evening if we go back out. Well, I like the beach drive at night as well, so then probably might move up to some Dale's Pale Ale or something like that. But I basically drink seltzers on the beach. They're nice and refreshing.
Yeah, seltzers are a good day drinking beverage because
Right.
they don't weigh you down and make you all sleepy. Dale's Pale Ale, that's an incredibly solid choice. The first time I had a Dale's Pale Ale was actually on the beach, Outer Banks. There was and it blew my mind. This was
That's where I'm going.
fresh off me turning 21, and like, yeah, you can drink on the beach. You can't drink between your beach house and the beach, but once you get there, like all bets are off. And there was actually a bar on the beach. I was like, all right, let me get, what do you have pale ale wise? And Dale's was it. So
That's cool.
It's a perfect choice.
Well, where we're going to be, there ain't no bars, and you're not allowed to drink. But if you're driving on the beach, and I have an annual pass to drive on the beach.
What are you going to crash into?
No, I'm just saying
that
it's like there are enough idiots out there that the Rangers are pretty darn busy, and they don't really care as long as you're being respectful and you're taking your trash out and you're not doing donuts or getting stuck on the sandbar, going out the sandbar at low tide and then you're trying to drive back at high tide. That's going to be a problem.
That's it.
I have seen floating Jeeps, not usually a Jeep. I've seen floating four-wheel drive vehicles.
Yeah, say.
But what I really like is like the two places I go the most have really deep sand coming in, and you'll just see somebody going with two-wheel drive, and I'm like, I'm just going to watch this, and they'll go about 10 or 12 feet, and all of a sudden, boom, and then they're like, what do I do? And then I'll tell them, but I don't have time to deal with that.
How often do they end up realizing they're stuck, and then they try and rev the tires to get out, and ultimately
all
you're
the
just
time, and then you're flat
deeper
on the sand. But the weird thing is, even flat on sand, if you run your tires down to about 5 pounds, you can still drive out of that.
As long as that was, I learned that lesson the hard way.
But a two-wheel drive and you're to the rims, somebody's going to have to give you a little pull.
My first car, this was the first beach vacation with my wife's family, the in-laws and everything. This is how I knew they were good people, because they never really gave me a hard time about it, and they should have. I parked my Grand Am. So the beach house had a driveway, and then it had sand. So there was like this argument about whose spot was whose. And I didn't think about the fact that I probably wasn't put in the sandy spot because I had a Pontiac Grand Am.
Yeah,
I got back to the house before everyone. I was like, all right, I'm parking in my now father-in-law's spot. And the sand hits and it starts spinning. And I was like, hell. Long story short, there's now a toe strap named after me because had to be towed out by my father-in-law. But yes, if you deflate the tires, you can get out.
Yeah, not in a Grand Am. Grand Am is not the vehicle of choice. If you're going to do a two-wheel drive, I recommend a rental vehicle, because when it gets stuck, they'll bring you another.
Drive it like a rental.
Just don't say you're going on the beach. Just when it happens, just call and say, I made a wrong turn and
I got way lost.
Can you come get me?
All right. Before we go too far, let's go ahead and rate these on Untapped. He is Huck's Beer Buzz. I am Horror Show Radio. I'll let you go first, Huck.
I drank it all because we were long-winded in talking about the beach because we love the beach. So I'm gonna give this. I've had a few of ghost beers. I've had a few, so now I feel like I can actually judge one. I'm 4.75. This is really good beer.
No, all right.
I need to look up the ABV because this could be a beach beer. I mean, it's got that kind of fresh.
I'm gonna guess 5. I don't know.
4.2.
Yeah, I feel like
this could definitely be an afternoon cruiser on the beach.
Hinders the fermentation, so I know it
road
go very high.
Apple. I mean, a road guava.
There you go.
I'm gonna get me a road guava.
Exotic fruit. I like it. I've got the Dominga Mimosa Sour from New Belgium. It's 6% ABV.
They always like to overachieve.
And it tastes like a sour mimosa. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I enjoy mimosas. I enjoy sours.
But did you enjoy a sour mimosa?
Something about this, it just hits middle of the road for me. I'm going to give it a 3. it's not a bad beer, but it's not going to be my go-to.
Well, and I kind of thought that one might not be as good, but I did give it to you first because, you seem to be encouraging that you liked mimosas.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it's very.
I think we're back to too many things in one thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like
you can either make me a mimosa or you can make me a sour beer.
Yeah.
Don't make me a sour mimosa.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Like I said, not the worst thing I've ever had. Middle of the road, 3. It's drinkable. It's. I would definitely, if I was offered it, take it again. I would probably buy it if it was between that and like even Pabst Blue Ribbon. But
fair enough.
It's not winning any blue ribbons. That's what I'm gonna say. And we'll be back with some more April Fool's Jokes on Me edition of Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store.